Hey everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Manu Prasanna. I'm a conversational AI strategist here at Avamo. I come from a technology and cloud background. Previously, I was at VMware at the cloud management business unit where I managed VMware's next generation cloud management suite of products. Joining me today is Robert Smith. I will let him introduce himself when he takes over from me. Before I dive into today's topic, just to get this out of the way, let me just tell you a little bit more about Avamo. Avamo is a 6-year-old conversational AI company. Not many people knew what conversational AI was in 2014. We have world-class investors, a world-class team comprised of Silicon Valley veterans based out of Los Altos in California. We count amongst our customers some of the biggest companies in the world, many of them household names. Avamo has been identified as a market-leading virtual assistant platform by analysts like Forrester and Gartner, and it's already popular with patients in health systems like UC Health. Avamo's patient-facing virtual assistants connect different processes during appointment scheduling. So let's talk a little bit more about that. A patient's first point of contact with a healthcare system is very often a phone call to make a healthcare appointment. This is what we call your digital front door. Do you know the average healthcare appointment takes more than 8 minutes to schedule? Studies show that most patients would prefer to schedule an appointment using an automated system themselves rather than talking to someone. Yet, 90% still call, and only 2.4% of appointments today are self-scheduled by the patient. Patients with non-chronic conditions are also less likely to schedule recare without reminders. Each open, unused time slot costs a physician 60 minutes and $200 on average. Nationwide, no-show rates hover around 30%. The total cost of missed healthcare appointments in the United States every year is $150 billion. And like I said, 90% of all appointments are still made via phone. Unfortunately, this dangerous and expensive problem has gotten worse. The COVID pandemic has brought on a new set of challenges. April 2020 was the height of the coronavirus. Nearly half of the world's population was quarantined. 90% of the US workforce was under lockdown. Canceled hospital services have increased and cost hospitals approximately $150 billion in revenue just from March to June 2020. Unexpected spikes and drops in clinical demand have made it more challenging to optimize clinician workloads. It's also become harder to scale contact centers and support staff who schedule these appointments today, as many of them are working remotely. There are indications that it costs twice as much and takes twice as long to train staff who are working remotely. But there's a silver lining in the cloud. COVID-19, unlike no other event, unlike any other crisis, changed the trajectory of digital transformation and self-service. Now we see that this has changed the speed of digital transformation and the adoption of conversational AI in healthcare. What if I told you that conversational AI can increase your patient satisfaction scores? What if they could reduce the number of no-shows dramatically. What if you could automate 70% of all your front desk communication? I already told you that 90% of appointments are still made via phone. So how do you automate these intensive back and forth conversations and then perform the right actions in the back end to manage an appointment? To add to the complexity, there are a variety of patient care systems, scheduling systems, and voice gateways, sometimes requiring seamless agent handoff that different healthcare systems use. So how do you handle those integrations? And last but not the least, what about security, HIPAA compliance, and protection of sensitive patient data? This is not an easy problem. But a conversational AI platform like Avamo can reduce the time to make an appointment by 85%. What if I said we could do this in 6 to 8 weeks? Don't believe me? Let me show you how we do it. There are a lot of chat companies out there, but this is real AI. A real conversational AI platform has to do a lot to mimic a human experience. It has to be multi-turn, multi-dialogue. The AI has to take into account contexts like patient history and location. It also figures out tone and sentiment. What if someone is panicked or frustrated? It can detect that and automatically escalate to a person when it detects that. Then there's the personalization aspect. It keeps learning about the patient. This is the machine learning. It can also take into account the patient's age and special requirements like accessibility, insurance, eligibility, and chronic conditions. Once you see how this all works, my colleague Robert will actually show you demos in the end. You'll see that AI sometimes is far more efficient than a human agent. Asking the AI a simple question or statement can solicit different answers based on the exact context. Here, a new patient is asking about a headache, right? So that's the first conversation we see. The virtual assistant tries to find him or her a personal care physician. Then Mary, who is pregnant, asks the same thing. It already knows her. It already knows her history. It connects her with Jen, her OB. Then Paul asks the same thing. Now, this is the third conversation. So he's asking about his medication. The virtual assistant decides that this would not be considered a side effect of the medicine that he's taking. And based on his medical history, it asks him to go to a nearby ER. So how do we do all of this? Let me try to unravel this a bit for you. Avamo automates 3 types of conversations in healthcare. The first type of conversation is talking to a knowledge base. Healthcare companies have a lot of documents, a lot of websites, that are hard to find by doing a search. What Avamo does is it actually goes and crawls all of them, and it creates a knowledge graph. So if you ask a question, it actually gives you an exact answer back. I mean, if you look at traditional search, when you ask a question like, hey, how do I treat my swollen ankle at home? What happens is it gives you a list of documents or a list of links. And then you got to go in there and try to figure it out. You got to open that document or that web page and then go and find the answer. So effectively, traditional search is actually just, when you're trying to find a needle in a haystack, it actually just gives you a smaller haystack. We actually give you the needle. We give you the exact answer. The second type of conversation is talking to an application. So you have all these, back-end systems of record, your EHR and EMR tools like Epic and Cerner, other healthcare scheduling tools like NewMD or Patient Pop or NextGen. And then, your provider directories for finding doctor profiles and insurance databases, right? And this could be even done using geolocation. So Avamo does all of this, as an integration, so it can have a multi-turn conversation with your back-end applications and your systems of record. The other type of conversation, or the third type of conversation we automate, is talking to a contact center. So if you've got a phone tree, we can help you automating the most repetitive calls, right? So we can look at all your call types, and we can look at the ones that are very repetitive. No reason why a human should be fielding those calls. And these these could be multi-turn and judgment intensive conversations as well. So let's look at that a little bit more. So this is our conversational IVR solution, right? So I'll be showing you, and Robert will actually demo some of this, but this could actually reduce your call volume by up to 70%. And the calls also become more efficient. As I said to you before, AI is very efficient. It does things very quickly, and it can remember things. If you say a lot of things at once, it records everything. There's, it's actually much faster than a human. So even your call durations get shorter. And did you know that 73% of people in general would actually prefer conversing with an automated phone system rather than a real person, or as if it were a real person? The Avamo platform is a one-stop shop for conversational AI and scales to thousands of developers and millions of users of patients, all without leaving the platform. Our full-stack tooling is available for developers and non-technical conversation designers. Our visual conversation design helps you easily create and manage conversation flows. Our proprietary natural language understanding, or NLU engine, processes and understands complex user queries with a specific focus on reducing false positives. The NLU engine actually classifies users' intents and accurately extracts key entities from users, and it actually distills and discovers the purpose behind each user or each patient's message. As far as analytics goes, the analytics we provide you gives you a complete picture of your patient journey. Things like how are patients utilizing the assistant, how these patients interact within the context of a specific intent, where they drop off, where the virtual assistant needs more training, and many other insights across channels. You can train the virtual assistant in supervised learning mode, where you can use patient feedback to improve results. Robert will actually show you that in a demo. Our Insights dashboard gives you information on usage, like the number of user queries or patient queries, the active sessions, successful responses, and even unhandled queries, so you can continuously improve. We integrate with all of the healthcare backends and systems of records, and actually more than 150 of the most common business applications used in enterprises today out of the box. So we also have live agent integration. So if you have a live agent platform, we most likely integrate with it. We integrate with the most commonly used live agent platforms. And as far as languages go, we support more than 30 languages in text and in voice. So as you can tell, when it comes to conversational AI, we are a comprehensive platform. Using a platform like Avamo and our skill builders and vertical skills specific to healthcare, which I shall talk to you about shortly, you can get your virtual assistant up and running in 6 to 8 weeks. We realize that every virtual assistant has a workflow, has training data relevant to that workflow, an NLU engine to understand healthcare. Something that allows you to build a healthcare specific integration to your system of record. So whatever backends and systems of records that you use, we integrate with them. Then there's the channel where you want to deliver it. So of course you can do this over the phone. Of course you can do this over other voice channels. But you can also do it on web, mobile app, or any type of messenger which your patients are using. And we can actually even go back and forth between channels. They can start the conversation on one channel and pick it up in a different channel if that's what you want and that's what they want. So what if you could take all of this and package it into a single unit of work? That's what we did. Now what if you could drag and drop that single unit of work to get you up and running? That's what an Avamo healthcare skill does. Here's an example of some of the skills we've built for healthcare. These are all available on the healthcare skills store, on the Avamo skills store in the healthcare section. These are fully packaged workflows that let you tailor them for your needs. Notice that this covers the entire patient journey. I'm just going to give you a few more seconds to kind of soak it in a little bit. Our skills represent the entire patient journey, as I showed you. It's all done through Avamo virtual assistants, and this is all available on the skills store. It's a great patient experience, and the best part is these are all out of the box, ready to go for you. UC Health uses us throughout the patient journey, including medication management. You can look at their medication management solution here and some of the integrations that enable this. Also notice the channels it's deployed on. UC Health has downloaded Avamo skills and created their own skills store. This is something that we can help you do also. This accelerates the development process so you can get up and running in 6 to 8 weeks. St. Luke's is seeing massive benefits from using our patient scheduling. During this time of COVID, I also do want to mention that we have a free COVID virtual assistant that we built as part of our corporate social responsibility that's free of cost for you to use. We are also proud to announce that we are working with a healthcare company that does vaccine distribution. And in the next few months, Avamo has a key role to play in the COVID vaccine distribution process. Now let's get back to appointment scheduling, what we were talking about originally. The quest to find the right provider involves searching for the specialist based on your symptoms, insurance, location, availability, and other preferences. Intelligent virtual assistants using Avamo's patented technology can conduct an empathetic conversation to understand symptoms, verify insurance, and suggest a specialist or primary care provider. As I showed you before, integration with EHR systems like Epic and Cerner or Allscripts ensures that the recommendation is based on the patient's current profile, much like a human would. In the complicated world of healthcare, finding the right care provider and finding the right time is the first step. But there are also other administrative tasks that are still driven by humans or people, your front desk staff, which can be automated seamlessly using text interactions or voice, using Avamo's conversational IVR. So this includes insurance verification, confirming appointments and e-check-ins, processing co-payments, and prerequisites for visits, including things like confirming with e-check the process payment of copay, pre-appointment intake, how about 24-hour dietary guideline, notifications, arrival check-ins, wait time status, telehealth app setup or assistance, and appointment reminders. And very importantly, the ability to confirm, cancel, and reschedule and reopen slots are also available. I think I already did mention to you that we can speak 30 plus languages over the phone and other voice channels, and other, we can do 80 plus languages over text, like text channels, right? So we can not only, meet your patients in the channel that they are, and most likely over the phone, like I mentioned, but we can also speak the language that your patients speak. We can also help you and get your design team involved and design a fantastic experience around your conversational AI. You can give your conversational AI a personality that's consistent with your values and your culture. We've done this with many of our customers, and actually you're seeing an example of what we did at UC Health. Avamo is the industry's only HIPAA-compliant conversational AI platform to ensure the protection of personal healthcare information. Avamo's industry-leading patented automatic speech recognition or ASR engine and commitment to security are recognized by some of the largest companies in the world. So we have your security and compliance covered. Don't worry, we know how to make your IT teams happy. So as you've seen during the course of my presentation, your digital front door or your patient's first point of contact with a healthcare system is very often a phone call to make a healthcare appointment. This is what is happening 90% of the time. We had a customer operating a contact center with a running cost of $13.6 million a year. Using Avamo Conversational AI, we were able to shave off 40% of their costs just implementing appointment scheduling and a few other common use cases that we identified. So we're already saving them close to $5.5 million a year. And to top it all, their patients are having a much better experience. So I want you to ask yourself, what can conversational AI do for you? Okay, I've said enough. Let's bring in our resident conversational AI expert, Robert, who can actually show you some of this in action. Over to you, Robert.
Thank you, Manu. Yes, this is Robert Smith. For this demo, I'm going to give you a scenario where we can really help, and I'm sure you can relate to this. Today, for me to book an appointment with a healthcare provider or doctor, it's a bit tedious. I have to go to a website or an app to look up in-network providers. By specialty, it's a bit of a hunt to find someone. And then I have to get on the phone when they're open and talk to a person who's often quite busy to schedule the appointment. What you're going to see in a moment is how you can have one Avamo virtual agent using this conversational IVR help you with all of this and complete it in under 3 minutes in this case. You'll hear the virtual assistant answer the call and respond to me with an articulate, natural sounding voice. The technique's called prosody. It's what Amazon Alexa and other such tools use, and it's quite useful. You'll hear the caller provide an arbitrary number of requests to find that doctor, to locate a specific one, which the assistant can use. And then you'll hear the assistant find and offer an available time slot with that doctor, that provider. Finally, the assistant can forward confirmation emails or texts as needed. It's something I'm looking forward to using. It could really save me a lot of time and make my life easier. So let's hear the demo.
Hello. Welcome to the Duke University Health System patient line. I'm Penny, your virtual assistant, and I can help set up an appointment with your healthcare provider. You can say something like, "We need to see our son's pediatrician," or, "I need to get an x-ray. What can I do for you today?"
I need to see someone about a knee replacement procedure.
Let me see if I can connect you with the right healthcare provider. If you would, please provide me with your patient identification number.
12690. Don't know what it is.
I'm sorry, but I wasn't able to find your information using your patient ID, 12690. But no worries, just provide me with your full name, date of birth, and the last 4 digits of your social security number. Also, please let me know if you have any preferences in your healthcare provider.
My name is Tony Allen Reynolds. I was born on November 15th, 1980. The last 4 of my social is 6958. Now, I want a male doctor that does a lot of knee replacements and is near RDU Airport.
Great, thanks. Based on what you've told me, I recommend that you see Dr. Michael Bolognesi, who has a 4.92 out of 5 patient-provider rating, has extensive experience in knee replacement and is near to airport. Is this okay?
Yes, it is.
Okay. The earliest available appointment is 11 a.m. next Wednesday. Will that work?
Yes, it will.
Okay. You're all set for 11 a.m. next Wednesday. I've sent you a confirmation text, and I'll also text you a reminder the day before your appointment.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Please call back if you have any questions or concerns. Thanks.
So there you have it. That demo gave you a sense as to what it can do, and I can actually show you another. So what I think I'll do here is I'll actually, I'll turn on my webcam here so you can see me. And what we'll do is we'll call up another one of these conversational IVRs. And in this use case, I have a more immediate need. So you'll hear how the virtual assistant can understand that and then pivot based on that immediate need to get the best outcome for me, the caller.
Hello. Welcome to the patient line. I'm Nova, your virtual assistant, and I can help set up an appointment with your healthcare provider. You can say something like, "We need to see our son's pediatrician," or "I need to get an x-ray. What can I do for you today?"
Oh man, I fell and bumped my head and I think I have a concussion.
I'm sorry to hear you're experiencing a neurological issue. Let me see if I can get you a neurology referral. I just need a passphrase for voice biometric authentication. Please say, "My voice is my password."
My voice is my password.
Great, thanks. In order to get a neurology referral for a neurological issue, you'll need to first set up an appointment with your primary care physician, Dr. John Jackson. Is this all right?
Yes, it is. Thanks.
Okay. The earliest available appointment is 2:30 p.m. next Tuesday. But since we're dealing with a neurological issue, I don't want to wait that long. I can squeeze you in this evening at 5:30 p.m. Will that work?
Yes, that's great.
Okay. You're all set for this evening at 5:30 p.m. I've sent you a confirmation text and we'll send you a reminder an hour before your appointment.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Please call back if you have any questions or concerns. Thanks.
And there you have it. Very natural sounding voice. As we mentioned, it's something called prosody. It's like what Amazon Alexa uses something called SSML, speech synthesis markup language. Very flexible, so you can make the voice sound exactly how you like with the breaths, the inflections. That really makes people more comfortable getting on the phone and working with a conversational IVR. So that's a couple of the demos I was looking to do. I'll turn it back over to Manu. As I understand it, I think we have some questions. Is that right?
That's right. But before we get into the questions, just want to, kind of recap and say that we showed you how we do it, and Robert showed you some demos. And if you implement conversational AI for patient scheduling, there's some very, very cool benefits to be had, right? So this includes increased patient appointments by 33%, including higher rates of recare appointments, right? And we also reduced the no-shows by 60% with text alerts, right? So, we're gonna lower your missed and canceled appointments. So obviously these are gonna result in better patient outcomes. And we've seen improved patient satisfaction scores and improved patient satisfaction by up to 38%. And like I mentioned to you before, there's going to be a reduction in contact center costs, and we see that is upwards of 40% in our customers. And so if you're carrying a contact center cost of, let's say, $10 million, we could save you upwards of $4 million. And then, of course, there's the clinician workload that we need to optimize, especially in this time of COVID. So there are reduced chances of things like physician burnout, right? And we've seen with our customers that we are delivering an ROI of over 500% within 3 years. So think about that. So before you go, I want you to look at one more thing, right? I've shown you this over and over again, but I want you to remember this, that 90% of all the appointments today are scheduled over the phone. And Avamo can actually reduce the time to make an appointment by 85%. And we can do that in 6 to 8 weeks. So now, let me actually pull up some of the questions. I've been collecting the questions that we've received during the course of the webinar. So, Robert, I'm going to give you some of these questions. I think we have some international viewers, and they're asking about languages, right? How easy is that to set up? How easy is it to implement? What do they need to do?
Excellent. Well, the product has been designed from the beginning to be international. So first of all, as you mentioned earlier, we speak and understand about 40 languages through the phone, and we can be additionally trained to work out specific dialects, accents, and so on that really make the difference in terms of accuracy, so that you can provide a more effective service to a larger number of your customers, regardless of where they are. The last piece I'll leave you there is that the brain of this thing doesn't just work in English. It actually will think in the language in which you're using. So if you have a conversational IVR in German, the machine learning is actually in German as well. It doesn't just try to switch to English in the background and translate. It can work natively in those languages.
Thank you, Robert. This person also asks, okay, what if I implement voice, and now I want to go to text, or I want to, implement this on my website or a different channel. So what's involved?
Okay, that's actually a great question, because the Avamo platform offers both text-based and voice-based conversational assistant technology. But what you can actually do is, we see text and voice as basically not just texting, but text as you would see on a website. They're just different channels. So we see a web channel for a website on your computer. We would see iOS, Android, Microsoft Teams, or IVR. Voice is just another channel, so it's fairly straightforward to reuse. So if you build a good conversational IVR and then you want to extend it to your website, it's the same tooling. You would just basically add an additional channel, and then any fine tuning you want to do for that different channel, you can do that. So that's one of the ways, as you mentioned, that we're able to turn things around very quickly.
Okay, and someone is asking about the timeline. I have it up here on this slide. It's actually 6 to 8 weeks. Do you want to talk to something about that, Robert?
Well, the reason you work with a company like Avamo is not just because, as you saw, the product works, but it works because there's best practices behind it, and the software that we have to build it, and you can build it all in a browser, really helps us build things very quickly that way, because we have a best practices around it. So it's more than just downloading software. It's working with us to see what we've learned over the years, delivering this time and time again, and that efficiency pays off from what we've learned previously to help you deploy this in record time.
All right, that's all we have time for today. Thank you, everyone. We will be continuing the webinar series in 2021. So be safe. Happy holidays. Thank you.
Yes, happy holidays. Take care.